59 Arizona, 6.8 seconds to go. Looks and goes to Bracken. McKenna drives, pull-up shot is good! Dribbles to the midcourt, shoots it, it's an air ball, and we are going to overtime. Amaya stops the dribble, goes inside to Cayetta, left angle to Elliott. Her three is good! And some of the 8,000 have said, we surrender, and they're heading for their card. Yeah, that was fun Saturday in Tucson, wasn't it? And we welcome you to this week's edition of In the Huddle with Molly Miller. I'm Jeff Munn. And to my right, and our audience's left, you all on television and just make-believe on radio, I want to introduce a person who has overseen one of the top turnarounds in college basketball this year, men or women. No, hang on, I got more. I want to introduce to you a coach who has established a record for the most wins by a first-year Arizona State women's basketball head coach. And I want to introduce to you the coach who just handed Wildcat Nation some really untasty medicine in the form of a season sweep of that school down south. Ladies and gentlemen, Molly Miller.
That's too kind. Too kind.
But it's all factual.
Hey, I have a lot of help. I know
you do, and you do, and it's all of you with the staff deserve the heartiest of congratulations. And we're not into celebrating milestones because we've got more to do. 21 wins and counting.
Yes.
And we're going to keep counting. But we do want to take a moment to talk about not only both games last week, the win at home over Utah, which was really critical, and, of course, that little matter at the school down south. Oh, they missed the cue. The school down south. Okay, thank you. And I think I'll start there first. We just saw the clip of the game-winning shot. I want to get to the game in total. But let me start there with McKenna Bracken's jumper to tie the game with 3 seconds to go in regulation. Was that play designed to get to McKenna?
Yeah, well, we had Gabby curling off the top of a double screen, and that was kind of the first look. If Gabby's open, getting her a running start to the basket and being able to get something at the rim. If they followed Gabby and be really concerned about her, we then had Bracken's. And she's very poised. I have to give her a lot of credit because, a couple plays before she dribbled it off her knee out of bounds. And there's two ways you can go. You can tuck your tail and be upset at the turnover, or you can hit the game winner and to put it into overtime. And she did the latter, so I was really proud of her for her composure in that moment to rise up. And she was at her sweet spot. So
yes.
She had the ability to rise up, hit that 12-footer, send it into overtime. And at that point in time, we had the momentum. I felt pretty good. Now, we still had to overcome some adversity with two players fouled out. And we were going back and forth with offense, defense. And Michaela Moore, this was her second game. She got cleared to play, and we had to have her out there and use her a lot. So there was a lot of different factors, including a hostile environment, that I was really proud of these kids to keep their composure and find a way to win.
There was one other aspect of the game that we didn't touch on when you and I visited at the end of the game because we were so caught up in the emotion. You did a great job against their zone.
Yeah, I thought we got sped up sometimes, but we were getting looks that we wanted. We were getting Bracken's in the right spot, inside out. Gabby hitting those threes were clutch. I thought we did a good job of establishing the inside presence to open up our outside shot. We were finding spots along the baseline that were open, and Bracken's can hit that 15-footer all day.
Yes.
And she did, which was nice to see. But we had to have a freshman point guard step up and Jaya step up in Poa's absence. So that was big for us too, because to have that composure and get us settled in an offense, that was their jobs, and they had to do that from the get-go, and that was a little bit of adversity that struck too. But as we say, perfect for us. You get it. You know one of our isms. Perfect for us.
Well, and you touched on the fact that you go into the game without Poa, then you lose Marley and Jaya to fouls basically at the end of regulation. So you've got to play that 5-minute overtime. You mentioned the fact that Michaela was pressed into duty. performed admirably. Amaya Williams came up big for you, and then obviously the work inside. And I don't want to forget about Elle because she posted a double-double, and she had another game where she had a close-in shot. The mechanics are right, and it's just, I said on the air, it's just bad luck that the shot comes out. But she stayed with it.
Yeah, she did. She probably made the most critical play in my mind in overtime. She got it on the block. She felt the double come. She kicked it out for Gabby, who hit the three. That was big for us. But that's a savvy sophomore with awareness. In my mind, I was like, go up, Elle. And she kicked it back to Gabby for an inside-out three, which those are money for Gabby. Those are the types of threes you want to hit, those inside-out ones. So she came up in big moments for us.
There was another play very early in the game, and Doug Tamro did the game with me on radio Saturday, and he pointed it out. Deborah Davenport's three stopped a U of A rally. They got on a bit of a run toward the end of the first quarter. Deb hits the three, and that just stopped it right there.
We needed something because Gabby went down. And so Gabby was in the training room. She was getting imaging. We didn't know how long she was going to be out. It was a huge chunk there. So Deb had those back-to-back baskets that really helped us, and that three was definitely needed at an opportune time. But that's, again, where this team is at in this stage, is we have different players stepping up, which is huge. It's been Jai, it's been Deb, it's been Martina.
Yes.
So our subs off the bench are getting more comfortable, and that takes the stress off of a Gabby and a Brackens and an Elle. So that's really good to have this time of year, as everyone's kind of peaking and gelling and contributing at the same time.
If you're just joining us, this is In the Huddle with Molly Miller, and along with head coach Molly Miller, I'm Jeff Munn. The other thing, going back to Gabby, I love her toughness.
Yeah.
Not just her physical toughness, but her mental toughness. Sugapong gets a technical. Gabby goes down to the other end of the floor, misses the first free throw, and eggs the crowd on. And they're buying into it. And I said on the air, those fans don't know what they're doing. They're going to cause Gabby to raise her game up. And Gabby just played on fire the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, I think she hit a three after those free throws. But for her, you can tell there's a different look in her eye right now. Mm-hmm. As a leader, she stepped up in practice. She doesn't let the team cut corners because she's not cutting corners. So she wouldn't ask the team to do anything that she's not willing to do. And she probably has an excuse not to do some of these things because we're load managing her a little bit. But when she's out there, she is full of intent. She is full of energy. She has these leadership skills that are really shining right now because, we call it what it is for these seniors. There's some finality to this, in the next month. So she has definitely risen to the occasion. I think the other seniors along with her feel like we have not come this far just to have come this far.
Exactly. That's a great phrase, too. We can go with that as a Mollyism, right?
We can.
Absolutely. I don't want to forget about the Utah game because, as I said, that game was as crucial as what happened Saturday. And you got another very strong offensive performance and probably Marley's best game offensively in quite a while.
Yeah, Utah is a tempo, high-powered offense, and they have a lot of weapons out there. They can shoot, they can drive. They've got great passing abilities, good post players. So I was really, really pleased that, one, we stepped up on the defensive end, but our offense followed. I think we're shooting it from three these past 4 games a lot better. That's opened up a lot for us on the perimeter. So we played a complete game against Utah.
At the end of the game, one of the things you did say to me, and you repeated it in the press conference on Saturday down in Tucson, was the real winner on Saturday was women's basketball. And I will say the atmosphere for both the games with that school down south this year were absolutely electric, and both fan bases deserve a lot of credit. All you people here in the room tonight deserve a big round of applause because of the way you showed up and the atmosphere you produced. And you're right. I mean, a setting like that, 8,000, close to 9,000 fans for a noon tip-off, and the game was as good as you could ask for. So women's basketball won on Saturday, too.
Yeah, I think you have fans that appreciate the sport, appreciate what the sport is doing in terms of momentum. I know you're going to talk to Jay Parry here soon. What a great catalyst to move us into the Final Four. Look what this community is rallying around when it comes to our sport and rivalries. I think it's really healthy. I think it's it's something to be proud of as a state, and even prouder that we can host Final Fours, we can host major events, and this is a sports community, and we saw that on Saturday. We saw that when we hosted Arizona. It's really, really good for women's sports.
This is a hotbed for women's basketball, the Phoenix area, the state of Arizona, and I don't think either the city or the state get enough credit for how strong a women's basketball market it has become over the last quarter of a century.
Yeah, it's fun for me to see too, and be a part of it. And we want to build, and there's a bridge coming with exposure and talent and excitement and buzz. And so it's the perfect time to host a Final Four.
Exactly.
It's the perfect time to have a renewed rivalry with Arizona and Arizona State. There's a new chapter there for both sides, so really exciting.
It is, and we want all of you that if you have not been to a game, you got to get out to Desert Financial for a couple of reasons. You're cheating yourself out of a great afternoon or evening of basketball and entertainment, but you're also running out of opportunities. This coming Saturday, Houston will be here. 2 o'clock will be the tip-off. The following Wednesday, the 25th, BYU in what is a rematch of a game played in Provo, and all these games now. I mean, it's sometimes people will say you're just it's a selling point. No, it's true. Every game you've got left on your schedule is huge in terms of the impact it will have going forward.
Yeah, there's about a 16 pileup there when it comes to right around that 500 give or take mark. So every game's really, really imperative. Every game's important. You have to play your best basketball this time of year, which I really have confidence that's what we're doing right now. So come see them. And obviously we have some seniors to recognize in our last home game against BYU. I really encourage everyone to come out for that because they're the ones that have started this thing for us. And, you know, their legacy is going to carry on. But I'm so appreciative of them because without them, this doesn't happen.
We have a tremendous lineup of guests tonight. And coming up in our next segment, we will focus in on the Final Four that's coming to downtown Phoenix a little over a month from now, about 6 weeks. Jay Parry, who is organizing the whole thing, will be with us next, right after this on the Sun Devil Radio Network.
In the Big 12, it's up for grabs, and anybody can go and get it.
Who wouldn't want to watch this team play?
Tickets are on sale as we speak at thesundevils.com, and I wouldn't waste one more second. Get on the website right now and get them. Welcome back to In the Huddle with Molly Miller. I'm Jeff Munn, and we talked about it with Coach in our first segment. This is the capital of the women's basketball universe now. Because in about 2 months, 6 weeks, Phoenix will host the NCAA Women's Final Four. And our special guest this evening is spending her last free 15 minutes for the next 2 months with us. Because after tonight, you want to have coffee with Jay Parry, not happening, she's too busy. Want to have dinner with Jay Parry, not happening, too busy. She's the CEO of the Phoenix Final Four Organizing Committee. Jay Parry is with us this evening. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Jeff, I'm great. I'm so happy to be with you. And it is the perfect time. We are 45 days from tip-off.
Wow.
We are literally on the clock.
I do a lot of work now out at Sky Harbor, and they have the big sign and the countdown, and I should have known it was 45. It was 49 a couple of days ago. That only makes sense. Where do you and I go back? Because we were both at the Mercury.
Right.
When did you start with the Mercury?
I started with the Mercury in 2004.
Okay.
And that was the year we drafted Diana Taurasi. I got drafted the same year. That's one of my claims to fame. And then our first championship was 2007. And you were such an early adopter of women's basketball and a huge supporter, and it makes all the difference in the world. We really appreciate your support.
Well, it's my pleasure, and it's blessed my life in so many ways. And I remember for those, this isn't about me, but I'll go ahead and say it. I had the grand honor of being the first PA announcer for the Mercury when they started in 1997, and we played our first exhibition game right over here when it was just the University Activity Center. I don't even think Wells Fargo had a name on it at that point. But from the very first game, I looked around and thought, okay, we're on to something here. And that first year, of course, was phenomenal. our last regular season game going for a playoff spot. We sold the building out. And it's really the Mercury, and we are going to talk about the Final Four, but the Mercury to me have been one of the great, with all due respect to all the other franchises in the W, the Mercury to me has been the greatest success story in the WNBA. And it's been due to a lot to the X Factor.
To the X Factor, to the fans, to the amazing players that we've had on our teams. We've been so blessed by all of it. And we're 30 years in, and now we get to host the Women's Final Four for the first time.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense that Phoenix should host a Final Four.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we are a major events town. We're a major events valley, right? 4 Super Bowls, 2 men's Final Fours, a college football playoff championship. We've done it all, but we've never had the Women's Final Four. So this is really a special milestone for our valley and for our incredible residents.
And I have a feeling once the NCAA sees how well your organization puts on events, it won't be the last time the Final Four comes to Phoenix. Yeah. Always the question comes up for fans, A, can I get a ticket? And it's a tough ticket to get, which is a tremendous statement about women's basketball. But there are so many other things going on, and I have a list here of the different events that will be going on in the days leading to the Final Four. So even if a fan can't get a ticket, there are lots of things they can do 3 or 4 days out before the ball goes in the air.
We are really proud of what's different about the Women's Final Four is all the events that surround the games are free. And they will start on that Thursday, April 2nd, with Tourneytown at Phoenix Convention Center. And it'll be games and giveaways and appearances and autographs and merchandise. And something new this year with the Women's Final Four is For It All Fest, which is, again, a free tailgate outside, food trucks, and we'll have viewing parties for the women's games as well as the men's Final Four.
That'll be outside the convention center, right?
Exactly, right.
I know exactly where you're talking about because I live downtown, and they utilize 2nd Street or 3rd Street. 3rd Street a lot to do those things when there's a major event. So there are all kinds of things fans can do, and I mean, it's a tremendous statement about women's basketball that you can do all these events. And I know that you're prepared to have huge crowds at all those events leading up to the Final Four.
Yeah. I mean, massive crowds we expect to come out Thursday through Sunday. The games, as you know, are Friday and Sunday. They'll be at Mortgage Matchup Center. Ideal place to play these basketball games. And the idea is we have something for everybody. As I said, whether it's a concert, whether it's Tourneytown, whether it is the bounce activity that we've got Coach Miller and her little ones involved in, where they can come down and bounce basketballs through the streets of Phoenix. Free basketball, free T-shirt, and you can sign up starting next week for that.
That's terrific. That dribbling parade.
Yeah, a dribbling parade. Exactly. Yeah. Well said.
Well, that's what it says here on the notes. I didn't invent that. That was something that was given to me. Jay Parry, who is the CEO of the Phoenix Final Four Organizing Committee, joins us on In the Huddle with Molly Miller. There is a component to getting this event going that you can't really tackle until 5 or 6 days out, and that's who the teams are going to be. And take our fans through how that impacts preparing for the event itself. You have to wait until you know who's coming.
Sure. And, with all these major events, what's great is we have such a resume to draw on. We've got a great roadmap from Men's Final Four that we hosted in 2024. And so we get to apply that and then make it a little bit different and supersize it for the women's events. It's going to have this great campus in downtown Phoenix. In terms of who plays, come on, ASU. Let's go, Coach Molly.
Yeah. How about it?
You got a lot of support for that. And so in terms of who plays, I mean, we're ready to roll out the red carpet.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's UConn, it's UCLA, right, or who are in the top 4 right now. But we quickly, then overnight, put up the signage, right, that's at the team hotels that recognizes them and their mascots. And starting at the airport when folks get off the airplane, we try to make it really an experience once you arrive in Phoenix and you know you're at a major event. We want them to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm at the Women's Final Four and this is going to be incredible.
You make a great point. As I said, I do work now both as a volunteer and I managed to get myself a paying job at the airport now. So I see a lot of what they do when an event comes to town, and we're going to bring in a ton of fans from outside of Phoenix. And you want them to know where they are the second they get off the plane.
Absolutely. We want them to feel that specialness, right? I've been to many major events around the U.S., and I arrive at the airport and I think, is anything happening? Am I really at a Super Bowl or, a men's Final Four? So we want them to feel it as soon as they get off the plane. And what we know from women's Final Four is it is a global event. Last year in Tampa, there were visitors from 50 states of the U.S. and 23 countries. And so this really is an international platform for us to introduce everyone to Phoenix, the Valley, and what we love about it.
Now, ASU has, as Jay mentioned, experience with this with the men's Final Four, and I know how important it is to you to have a partner like ASU that's done this before, knows what they're doing, and is ready to roll. And I know that the planning for this has been 2-3 years out, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've been hard at work on this probably the last 18 months. And so as I was talking to my colleague before the show, she said, I think it's really going to happen in 45 days. We've been working on it so long, it is going to happen. And that's just, it's an exciting opportunity for a whole community.
Yeah. And again, tickets is an issue. If you don't have a ticket, you might run into a problem coming up with one unless you got a lot of money. But that, too, that to me is one of the exciting things about this event, that there are so many people waiting to knock down the doors at Mortgage Matchup Center just to get in.
Right. It will be sold out, and we love that. And you can go to PhoenixFinal4.com and check out some ways to get tickets and hospitality.
Well, I would also think that viewing party that you're going to have outside the convention center, that's going to be just almost as good as being in the arena.
That'll be super fans galore, exactly, and great entertainment. And it's always just fun to be with a group, right? That's why we love these major events. People want to experience them in person. And I want to go back to ASU for a minute because they have been a tremendous partner. And they are the official host institution, which you need to have in order to host a women's Final Four, a men's Final Four. But they have leaned in so many ways that were, I would say, planned from the get-go and expectations. What was unexpected is how the women's basketball program has been so successful this year, created all this interest and excitement. I mean, really, it makes a difference. The momentum going into this women's Final Four with what Coach Miller has done with the team, the incredible players, the entire program, it makes a difference because we feel it, right? That momentum, that excitement, and that's going to take the women's Final Four to the next level.
Now, among Jay's experience, you spent many years at the W. And I would have to think you have so many things going on right now, you really can't take a moment to step back. But I'm certain there's been some point in the last 18 months that you look around at the success that the W has had, the ratings that continue to go through the roof for women's college basketball, and the excitement around the Final Four, and what it has done for the game itself. This has to be something that just is off the charts exciting for you personally.
It really is. I mean, it's completely fulfilling, having worked in the WNBA, having kind of grown up with it with our X Factor fan base, which has been amazing. Folks like Charli Turner Thorne, Annie Myers Drysdale, they've just been in it for so long. It is really exciting to see it come to this point. And we still have so far to go, right? We still want to keep our pedal to the metal, and our ability to deliver a fantastic women's Final Four is going to continue to build this epicenter of basketball here in the Valley. When you look at what we've just had in the past 2 years, we've had a men's Final Four, we've had the WNBA Finals, we've had WNBA All-Star, we're going to NBA All-Star next year, we've got a women's Final Four right in the middle of that. I mean, that's a roadmap for incredible basketball success, and we love being a part of it.
Now, there is a website, if you didn't write down everything that's going on around the Final Four, PhoenixFinal4.com is where fans can get a complete listing of everything that's going on, right?
All the events, so many ways to get involved. We're still taking volunteers, and so you can sign up to be a volunteer. You can look for tickets. You can look for the free events. And also follow us on WFinal4 or all our social handles.
And that outdoor event outside the convention center, you said there will be food trucks there?
Yeah, food trucks, music, entertainment. Yeah.
That's where I'll be.
It's going to be a party. It's going to be a tailgate.
If there's food, that's where I'll be.
There'll be a live audience. We love that.
Jay Parry, CEO of the Phoenix. Oh, she's going to pin me.
You're officially pinned.
When we come back, an ASU women's basketball legend in the Huddle with Molly Miller continues right after this on the Sun Devil Radio Network.
In the Big 12, it's up for grabs, and anybody can go and get it.
Who wouldn't want to watch this team play?
Tickets are on sale as we speak at thesundevils.com, and I wouldn't waste one more second. Get on the website right now and get them. Welcome back to In the Huddle with Molly Miller. I'm Jeff Munn, and I'm going to get serious for just 60 seconds, and I'll get back to being my lighthearted usual self. Our next guest, I could spend this whole segment going over the basketball accomplishments, and most of you already know what they are. So if I had the opportunity to just say one thing about our next guest, I would do it about the person, and I would say this. In a world in which we invoke the gold standard, our next guest as a human being is platinum. And with that, we welcome to the program Charli Turner Thorne.
Thank you. Right back at
you. So many things we can talk about. Though I was thinking about it today. What do I want to ask her first? And I thought, you were cheering Saturday, right? And you're not in a role now as a broadcaster where you can't do a lot of cheering, but you were cheering, right?
I do this, like when the shot goes up, I'm like, oh. So, I mean, I'm not a great, except when I was on the sideline, I was cheering for my team. I kind of like watch, but yeah, I mean, I am inside. Yeah. I mean, how about this season so far? Yeah. I mean, this team's made for March. You can just see it. You know, even when they don't have their best stuff, they find a way to win. And that's how you get to March.
And that's a team you would love to coach yourself. I mean, those you had quite a few teams that were that way.
We had a few like that, yeah. I'd say that would kind of characterize us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm done coaching, so that's good. So I'm just so excited for the home stretch and you know, they're going to postseason. It's just kind of, you know, see, you know, what that looks like. But I think it's looking great to be in the NCAA tournament. I wasn't real encouraged with that reveal. Did you guys see the first 16, like the seeding reveal?
Yeah, that wasn't.
You guys watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very subjective process. So you know, all you can do. I mean, Coach Miller knows just going to control what she can control, but you know, win a few more, and they're going to punch their ticket, and you guys are going to get your tickets to go cheer them on. Hopefully.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Might not be hosting this year, but it's coming.
Exactly. I'll ask the other thing, and we just had Jay Parry on. This whole thing. Now, for those who don't know, Charli does, in addition, she does a lot of different things. You're doing broadcasting, you're doing scouting for the Mercury. So you had a hand in getting that team to a WNBA final last summer. To look at the big picture of what's going on around here right now, the resurgence of this program, Mercury in the WNBA Finals, Women's Final Four coming to Phoenix. If I'd come up to you 30 years ago when you started at Arizona State and told you it was going to be like that, you would have said...
Sure.
Okay. But it is. It's got to be very gratifying.
If we would have hired Molly right away, we might be actually talking about the conversation of...
Yeah, there is that.
I shouldn't say that, but I will.
But it's very gratifying, I'm sure, to you personally.
It is. I mean, just the growth, of course, the growth of the game. I mean, right now, in terms of attendance, in terms of television coverage, I mean, for women's basketball, college and pro, we're at an all-time high. And so it is a fun time. I'm glad I get to still be involved because it's just really, really fun.
And one of the reasons it has to be gratifying to you is because when you started here, it was literally starting from the ground. It was almost like, we want you to build something. Here's a plot of dirt.
Yeah, well, I think a few people here. Norma, you were maybe one of our 5 fans that we had. We were last place team, and wasn't the portal and the money around. So, you know, you just did it the old-fashioned way, and And that's okay. Yeah, it's a different world right now, the landscape for college women's basketball.
Yeah.
I get asked a lot, like you got out, or get told a lot, you got out at the right time. And I say, yeah. But at the same time, I mean, gosh, so much fun because of the growth and, how much everybody's so excited. I never got this many people at a radio show. I love it. No, I mean, yay.
You must get asked this a lot, and I hate asking it, but I will. Give me one moment, if you can, from your years here.
25 years. So there was a lot of moments. And first of all, before I answer that question, when I kind of just retired and I was just kind of burned out and done, and just thank you to everybody, for everything and for being here tonight, and kind of, believing in Molly and the program and, her staff and everything they're going to do. Our 2006-07 season, our first Elite Eight.
Yes.
31-5, finished the season ranked 8th in the nation, but that team wasn't going to do any of that. We weren't even ranked preseason. We suffered a real tragic experience in the Virgin Islands, and a member of one of our players' family passed away, and it was the most incredible thing I've ever experienced in my life, where I saw a group that wasn't connected at all just connect and play for the greater good and accomplish something that I can guarantee you we never would have accomplished had they not kind of just united over that tragedy. And you never want to have tragedy to have to do that, but that season probably, it was fun winning the first ever Pac-10 tournament. That
too.
Cool. Yeah, especially since they had the T-shirts in cardinal red.
Yeah,
they were already printed. Yeah. Before we beat them, but that season really stands out as really, really special.
I'll give you a moment that I think about quite often, and it was the first year I started doing these games. We hosted the Sweet 16. You played North Carolina in the Sweet 16. And the thing that will always stick with me, where we are doing this show tonight, this area used to be frat row. And no joke. They put us for media parking over in the garage next to the Whiteman Tennis Center. So I parked there, and as I'm walking with my equipment, there are North Carolina fans walking toward the arena. The fraternity guys are out yelling at them.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, they were giving them grief, and I thought, we've arrived. If the frat guys are getting into this, we've made it.
We had about 8,000-9,000 fans.
We sure
for that
did.
Game. That was incredible. I don't know if anybody remembers. We beat Notre Dame in Fresno.
I remember.
To get back home where we were hosting. And the funniest thing, the most memorable story in that game is Kylan Loney, who actually is back here living in the Valley.
Ah.
Her husband's coaching at Molly's old school. We won't say him. But anyway, she got punched in the nose. She broke her nose, and she comes out of the game, and this is just Kylan Loney. And she's just like, shove some cotton in it, shove some cotton in it. And she didn't, first of all, she didn't want to come out. And she's like, Kylan, you have to come out, and, blood and everything. So she goes in on the bench, and they did. They just smelling salts, cotton, goes right back in the game. We win, and then equally as funny, she's like, I'm not wearing a face mask. I'm not wearing a guard. I'll sue. My parents are coaches. It was hilarious. That child was so competitive. So,
well,
anyway, fun story.
I have a moment from that night. Betsy Boardman hit a turnaround 35-footer at the end of the first half. And you didn't see it because you're walking with your team off the floor. I looked at Notre Dame's players. They looked like they'd gotten sucker punched. They were never the same team. We ran right past them in the second half like they weren't there. And it was the most amazing. I've never seen a team leave the floor or the field at an athletic event in such an utter state of shock when Betsy hit that shot. That game was over right there. It was. I don't know if, obviously. I don't know
if we knew, but yeah.
Yeah, but the way that it looked the look at their faces, that game was over. There's so many things. Tell me, let's get it up to speed. I touched on it. You're doing some broadcast work. You've done some ASU games on ESPN Plus.
Yes, I get one more. I get senior night. Senior night's about you guys coming out and really celebrating the seniors from this great season. And, obviously you have, you do the other celebration because there's a lot of basketball to be played. But anything you can do to bring a friend, bring people, it's just so much more meaningful. I mean, obviously you want to win the game and X factor and competitiveness, but also for the seniors, really, really special. My Quinn used to always make signs for all the seniors. It was really cute. But anyway, sorry, what was the question?
You're doing broadcasting and scouting. That does take up a lot of your time because you're not only scouting during the W season, you're scouting college games too, right?
Well, that's my main job. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just got back from Lexington, did Ole Miss, Kentucky. So I get to, it's a great gig. I just travel around and watch like really good basketball games and kind of see my friends and stuff. So it's fun. Got the LSU Missouri broadcast. So, but Molly and I, we just, great luck, and I can't always be at every game. But it's been fun. I'm teaching a little bit in the College of Health Solutions.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
So just some fun gigs. Still allows me to have some good family time.
Well, that's important, and we're glad that you're living the life you want to live because that's important.
Yeah.
Will you come back and do this again at some point down the road?
It's up to Molly.
Okay, then the answer is yes. It's great to see you.
No, but thanks for having me. Yeah, this is fun. Great to see everybody.
And
go Devils!
I can say this. I simply don't know what the last 22 years would have been like if I hadn't found you on that day I started in 2004.
Okay, now we're getting emotional. Nope, can't do it.
Okay, she's out. That's it.
I love you, Jeff.
I love you too, Charli.
You are such a big part of everything that has happened and the success here. And we all love you to death.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Charli Turner Thorne. And we're back with Coach Molly in our final segment right after this on the Sun Devil Radio Network. Back we go with more of In the Huddle with Molly Miller. I'm Jeff Munn. And Coach Miller rejoins us, and it's now time for the segment that all of America is talking about. Every Division I college women's basketball college head coach wishes they had a segment like this. We're the only ones that have it. It is now time for Ask Molly. What our audience here at Blanco, and by the way, I haven't mentioned this tonight, we are at Blanco Cocina y Cantina, a great place to come anytime for great Mexican food. It's just tremendous, great setting. And the outdoor patio is pretty nice this time of year, too. And members of our audience here have written out questions to Ask Molly. And the first one comes from Noah in Tempe. Is Noah with us? Can Noah make some noise and just let us know that Noah is here? We were talking in the first segment about McKenna's shot that tied the game at the end of regulation. Noah wants to know what went through your mind on the tying shot.
I mean, it looked good when it left her hand. So I'm like, all right, overtime, baby. Here we go. Yeah, it looked good. And that was her sweet spot. You can tell, when she's got lift on it. It wasn't rushed. It was very mechanically sound. So I had a good feeling that it was going in just from my vantage point. So then I was like, all right, we've got to really manage this next 5 minutes with our situation and the personnel that's available, and how do we want to do that? So I was thinking through it as it was in the air. Time for 5 more minutes. Yeah,
and you heard the clip of the guy doing play-by-play on the radio at the end. I've already gotten feedback from my kids saying, Dad, you sounded like a 6-year-old. But it was all, but I was ecstatic. There is a follow-up question, and I think it bears asking. Did you expect that many ASU fans at McHale?
It was great. I knew kind of the number count on the bus, and then I understood there was going to be a great group of students there. My neighbors, my whole cul-de-sac surprised me and came down, so that was really cool. I had my mom here from Missouri.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I am a version of her. So if you wonder where I get my energy, I know that was a question on last show. Meet my mother. She's here. But I knew that the contingent would be strong, and we were a little bit outnumbered but not outhearted. So thank you all for coming. It was fun. Appreciate the maroon and gold in the stands.
Absolutely. And Sarah Mensch, and I do know I got the name right last week. Sarah asked, and it's a follow-up, what does it feel like to send 9,000 U of A fans home crying in your first year coaching at ASU?
I was not upset about that one.
No, none of us were.
We had a fun little celebration in the locker room. So more so than sending them home dejected was the victory and the joy that our team felt. We say perfect for us, but sometimes it's just us. And I know Charli can probably relate to the teams. No one really knows the connection, the team ins and outs and secrets and all the things except that inner locker room circle. So to celebrate with our team and just taking that moment through that adversity, that was really fun and special. And I got drenched, which wasn't too happy about that one, but I'll let it slide this time.
All right, we look ahead. Iowa State Wednesday, and I there's no way to sum up how critical this game is. And it's two outstanding teams. It's a lot like last week with Utah. Two teams that are playing really good basketball at the moment with a lot on the line.
Yeah, they're very talented. Obviously, one of the most efficient players in college basketball right now with Audie. And then Jada, their point guard, kind of runs the show. And they've got shooters around those two.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of pick your poison. You know, what I like about this game is we just came from a pretty hostile environment, and we're going to see that again. So it shouldn't be any surprise with the fans and what that feels like on the road. We just played a little bit of a matchup zone against Arizona. I have a feeling Iowa State's going to throw the same thing at us. So no surprise what we're going to see there. We had a good 58 possessions of practice on Saturday for that. We've played someone like Audie in Merkel at Penn State, a very efficient post player. So we've got some things that are lining up in our favor for this game in terms of preparation.
And you mentioned going up against Grace Merkel at Penn State. The thing I remember from that game is how frustrated she got because she wasn't getting shots to fall. She wasn't getting the looks she normally gets because of your defense. And so for fans who are a bit concerned, Audie Crooks is a tremendous talent, but you have experience with going up against players of that caliber. So I know that you're anxious to take on that challenge again.
Yeah, and you don't just guard one person with another person. You have to have team defense. So one of our themes has been, which is normal for us, extreme ball pressure. That's something that we really hang our hat on. That should help with hopefully not being able to direct feed the post all the time with comfort. We put people on their heels. We fly around. So it's going to be a team effort, 1 through 5 on the court, and then everyone on the bench and substitute rotations. We have to be locked into the game plan.
Then Saturday at 2 at Desert Financial Arena, Houston comes in. They've struggled this year, but they have a veteran coach in his first year who knows how to get a team ready to play.
Yeah, you can't take anyone just from record face value, especially in February. Everyone's kind of fighting with nothing to lose at the bottom and then something to prove at the top and then something to gain in the middle. So we have to understand that every single game we play is going to be a battle. Everyone's going to prep a little bit harder, focus a little bit more. We have to do that better than the team we're facing.
You know, you mentioned in the first segment about the look in Gabby's eye at this time of year. I think that's true with everybody on the roster. And so you look at the way these games are falling on the calendar with Iowa State, Houston, BYU, Texas Tech, and then the Big 12 tournament. But there is that look in everybody's eye. There's a confidence. You've talked about that. The confidence level of this team, which has never been down, is growing. And so even as the stakes get a little higher game to game, your team rises to that level.
Yeah, we talk about it. You know, it's not something that we just throw the ball out and practice. We talk about what meaningful basketball looks like right now, what it needs to look and feel like, how we need to respond as a team, how the X's and O's will take care of itself, but there's all these little nuances that the locker room has to be responsible for. So they understand that, and we're a very kind of free-flowing team in terms of collaboration and conversation, and I don't want to have the biggest voice. So that's been helpful when you've got veteran assistants, when you've got a veteran team, when you've got leaders that are stepping up, bench players stepping up. I really do think we're peaking at the right time.
I got to ask one more question about Saturday. The game here on the show that week, we had Willie Bloomquist and Greg Powers on. Now, they were both busy on Saturday. But I'm curious to know, not just did you hear from them, I'm sure you did. How many other ASU coaches texted you Saturday evening?
Yeah, everyone. They all text. That's what's so cool about this and what we're building together. I really think there's an explosion happening here. But this doesn't happen without people like Charli. And she texts me before every game. She texts me after every game. I'm so fortunate for her, and I'm really blessed to have her as a mentor and someone to lean on. I listen to her. She'll give me a pep talk every once in a while, and I listen to her. But when I first got this job, she rallied the troops for me. And to have that type of support around here when I'm coming into a little bit of the unknown for me, this is, my first Power 4 gig. In the Big 12, and she was so supportive. These head coaches were so supportive. This really is a Sun Devil family. That's what makes these wins even more special, is because we're doing it together. And Charli laid the foundation. Oh my gosh, I have hundreds and hundreds, and I think it's 700s of wins to catch up. But she is the reason why we're successful today. And I'm just very grateful that she came on the show. I value her friendship, and I'm just excited to make her proud, because she put so much into this program. I want to get it back to that rightful place where I can sit up here and, 25 years and say, you remember when we beat, and just rattle all these teams off that she's done, and Sweet 16s and Elite 8s. Like, I want to do that. I want to follow in her footsteps. So from her to the head coaches, to the administration, to the fans, we are just hitting the tip of the iceberg. But what a fun moment.
It is. And as I said at the outset of the show, it's not a time for us to step back and go, okay, mission accomplished. It's not mission accomplished.
No.
It's 21 wins and counting. There's so many other things left to achieve just this year alone.
Yeah. And
I would think, knowing your energy level, which is always way up here, it's probably going to new levels right now.
Yeah, I mean, when I got this job, it was, the expectations are low. I almost did a double take, like, low expectations?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. This is a low expectation year,
Yeah.
We got to make a mark right away. We need to change reality. Like, we're going to hit this thing ground running, high expectations. And everyone's embraced that, which I'm really excited about, but we're not satisfied. We've settled in pretty good here with a new reality, with new expectations, with new standards, but we're never going to be satisfied. So keep on trucking, keep on going.
Absolutely. And in that spirit, let's hit the ground running and go to Ames. What do you say?
Do it.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Head Coach Molly Miller, thanks to Jay Parry, thanks to Charli Turner Thorne, thanks to all of you for coming. Remember, Saturday we'll be home against Houston at 2. Radio coverage Wednesday, KAZG, 1440 AM, KDUS.com, with our pregame getting underway at 5 and the tip-off at 5:30. Till next week, for Head Coach Molly Miller, I'm Jeff Munn. Thanks for being with us on In the Huddle with Molly Miller, a presentation of the Sun Devil Radio Network.
In the Big 12, it's up for grabs, and anybody can go and get it.
Who wouldn't want to watch this team play?
Tickets are on sale as we speak at thesundevils.com, and I wouldn't waste one more second. Get on the website right now and get them.